Hello internet, my name is Lave and I watched Birds of Prey, which is directed by Cathy Yan. I had to look up her filmography and I didn't recognise any of her previous projects. I think it's fair to say that this is her biggest film to date, which of course is a part of the DC cinematic universe and sequel to Suicide Squad. Which is where we last saw Harley Quinn, once again played by Margot Robbie, who has now broken up with her puddin, the Joker, and no longer has his protection, so a lot of people are out to get her, including sadistic crime lord Roman Sionis, aka the Black Mask, but fortunately there are some other ladies knocking about Gotham City, so a team up is definitely on the cards. So let's start with the obvious and Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I mean, she's just perfect. She is Harley Quinn. The film really should have been called The Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn and then Birds of Prey, because it's all told from her perspective. She narrates it and all of the other characters' stories just kind of intersect with hers. But the film does do something interesting because Harley Quinn is such a scatterbrain. It deliberately tells things out of order, so you might meet a character in the middle of a chase sequence and then the next scene actually happened before that scene, and then you get the origin story of that character. So it's deliberately confusing. I mean, Harley even says at one moment, "I'm telling this all wrong." It's kind of a bit like Memento. I mean, it's not on the same level, but it's doing a similar thing in the way that they've edited it and put it together. And Margot Robbie is brilliant. In amongst all of the crazy bone-breaking fighting shit that she does, there is some excellent fight choreography which has been captured really well. There are also some moments where I thought to myself, oh yeah, this is an Oscar-nominated actress. Even though she's playing Harley Quinn like quite drunk and crazy all of the time, there are subtle moments of sadness and melancholy behind all of that stuff. Even though she says that she's over the Joker and their relationship, she really isn't. I also really like the fact that they call back to her psychology background and her past. For example, she's still got the ability to tell when people are lying. Of the Birds and Prey characters, yeah, I liked them. All of them have a function within this disjointed narrative, which revolves around finding a diamond, which is the key to unlocking the criminal underworld, which I'm not entirely sure how. But also there's a little girl in there who bounces in between all of these stories. I liked the actress playing Black Canary. She's the next door neighbour to the little girl, but she's also a singer at Black Mask Club before becoming his driver. You've also got Mary Elizabeth Winstead playing Huntress, who's got a very Kill Bill-esque origin story, and then you've got Rosie Perez as a cop investigating Black Mask who keeps on getting screwed over by her superiors, and is an example of the film being very self-aware. It points out on numerous occasions that her character goes through all of the 80s and 90s cop movie cliches. I do love Rosie Perez. She will always be Gloria from White Men Can't Jump for me. I love her so much in that film. Foods that start with the letter Q. And then you've got Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. Now, I don't get on with his American accent in movies, and in this one I think he's tried to give it a Boston twang, which didn't really work for me, but it wasn't overly distracting, and he was clearly having a blast playing the villain, whose character's got no problems cutting people's faces off, but quite fickle when it comes to hygiene and snot bubbles. His character really benefits from the higher age rating that this film got. I think if it had been rated as 12A or PG-13, as I think it's called in America, then his character could have come across as a bit too campy without the violent bits that we see him do in the film to kind of counterbalance it. As it is, it's rated 15 over here, and if I'm honest, I still wish that it was an 18 rating and they just really went for it in terms of the violence and the profanity. As it is, there are violent bits in it that made me wince, and there are a few F-bombs, and it still is an improvement on Suicide Squad, despite the fact that the film does a lot of similar things to Suicide Squad. Like, it's got a similar neon-drenched colour palette, and it's got the character title freeze frames where it comes up and tells you who specific characters are, but the difference is this film utilises it in a better and funnier way. And it obviously benefits from being more grounded in terms of its action. Apart from Black Canary, there's no superpowers, so the fighting is all at street level and there aren't any dodgy CGI characters or villains or blue beams shooting up into the sky. As I said, it's all been shot very efficiently and effectively. But I do think this film owes a huge debt to other films, some of which I've already mentioned, like Kill Bill, but especially Deadpool and Deadpool 2. I mean, it's got the same sort of tone and humour as Deadpool. It's self-aware and fourth wall breaking, and it's got basically the same plot as Deadpool 2. We've got an anti-hero who has to help out a kid, and in the process forms a super team. But the difference is, I will say that I wasn't kind of like belly laughing or laughing out loud as much as I did in the Deadpool films. I chuckled a lot in this, but not as much as in Deadpool. But still, I definitely think that this is a step up from Suicide Squad. So that's the thoughts on Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. In all honesty, I do wish that we got a proper film version of Harley Quinn's origin story with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn and just not Jared Leto as Joker. I want a decent Joker. I really appreciated the animated sequence at the beginning of the film, which is basically a recap of everything that happened in Suicide Squad and her origin story. I just wish that we got to see it. I mean, it's interesting that the current state of the DCEU, and I do think they've done the best with the current situation there. I mean, they refer to Batman in this film. It's like, yeah, but Ben Affleck's left, so is it going to be Robert Pattinson? But then the timeline's all over the place. I mean, I suppose they could work it out. I mean, Harley Quinn's world is so crazy anyway. They might be able to sort through the fudge with Joaquin Phoenix at the Joker? Yeah, maybe. But let me know what you thought if you've seen Birds of Prey down in the comments. And as always, thanks very much for checking out this review. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give it a like and don't forget to share the Lave. What is a quince?
It's a food that starts with the letter Q, Billy.